Good afternoon, Zimbabweans and the world at large. My name is Advocate Dumisani Leya. I am the director of the Phoenix Foundation of Zimbabwe in South Africa, and I'm also one of the longest serving politicians opposing the Zimbabwean government. On the issue of the Geza revolution and its flop on the 31st March, proposed March, I would like to say that it was clear from the beginning that the protests were going to fail because they were not well organized. There was no rendezvous, which means there was no meeting point, there was no meeting time. As such, Zimbabweans have been through a lot of these promised actions against the government which have failed in the past. So what happened was that people were very suspicious of the whole situation, especially owing to the fact that Geza actually, in most of his pronouncements or videos where he was laying out his proposed plan, was accentuating the fact that he serves on the Central Committee of ZANU PF. Zimbabweans have identified ZANU PF, the institution, as the perpetrator of their suffering. And anybody who is attached to ZANU PF or associates themselves with ZANU PF becomes an enemy to the Zimbabwean people instantly.
Yeah, Geza is saying another thing that you've touched on, that he wants Mnangagwa removed and Chiwenga elevated. Do you think that is going to change the situation in Zimbabwe for Zimbabweans, or it's just seen as the same thing that happened in 2017? And could this be the reason why people stayed away?
Partly that is the reason why, and that was one of his biggest mistake. People learned from the 2017 coup, I say that in quoted marks, they learned that they had helped ZANU PF reinvent itself by helping them in their succession battles. Geza should not have mentioned who is going to come in and who is going to be removed. Geza should have asked the Zimbabweans to join him in a fight against a failed government. And most of the times, Zimbabweans are not looking for somebody who is going to remove one party and put another. Zimbabweans want the ZANU PF to be removed from power so that they can have an institution that can govern them well. Zimbabweans are no longer identifying themselves with any institution, whether it's the ruling party or it's the opposition. So in this issue, whatever Geza was doing towards the 31st of name dropping people like Chamisa and the other was not helping him, because people are no longer interested in the opposition. They are no longer interested in ZANU PF. They are waiting for a force in whichever form that will come and help them in governing them in the way that would help them to be productive and develop the country. This whole thing of name dropping and blaming other people does not work. People are aware that if Geza is in the Central Committee with Mnangagwa, he subscribes to the same principles that Mnangagwa subscribes to. He partly blames the 2030 pronouncements that have been made that Mnangagwa should serve until 2030. People are aware, Zimbabweans, a lot of Zimbabweans are educated people. They know that Geza sat in the Central Committee meeting that resolved that it will be pronounced at their conference that Mnangagwa should rule until 2030. He cannot come out at the other end and say that he blames that when he had an opportunity to actually oppose that in the preliminary meetings.
And then, and then there are two other factors,
Yes.
Which stand out. First, the actions by Geza and some, we don't know who else is behind him, but some war veterans as well, indicate that ZANU is divided right now. The second one, an inadvertent admission by Mtswangwa that the changes to the military that happened, where Sanyatu was removed and replaced by Matatu, came at the right time before the 31st, because they wanted to make sure that the military is in the right hands. This also shows that the military is divided. So what should Zimbabweans do to take advantage of these divisions between first ZANU PF and second the military?
Zimbabweans should come together on their own without ZANU PF or the opposition and demand that they need a transitional authority leading them to an early election, because at this time it is ripe for the Zimbabweans to vote out ZANU PF.
Okay, thank you very much.